Hello and welcome to my channel. So when I am out and about, um, I get asked quite a bit what I do or what I've done or what I've changed since I'm over 50, over 40 even. I am actually now 50, but since I've turned 40, I would get asked what I've done and how I train now to keep healthy and fit and maintain muscle. So I'm going to go over 5 points of what has helped that can then help you as well to maintain your health and fitness over 40. So point number one is going to be stop obsessing over cardio. I think as women, we grew up with, cardio, calories, and I think we've always was quite scared of weights. Now, for me, that changed. And in fact, I changed by lifting weights when I was 40 and it changed everything. So I do CrossFit. So obviously, I'm not saying I don't do any cardio because there is some within that. And we also lift weights quite quickly, which again is cardio. But I don't focus on cardio. And I do have times when I would just do the gym. I don't do CrossFit. And in fact, I think I notice my body looking even better when I am just doing gym. It's just I do enjoy CrossFit. So that would be my first thing is don't obsess over cardio and just lift weights. And also for girls, I do see a lot of people training and they will lift very, very light weights. You need to be progressing and going heavier on your weights. We're losing muscle as we get older. And I think people need to stop being scared because it is very difficult to get bulky, especially with muscle loss that we're losing. I mean, I train regularly, have done for the last 10 years, and I lift heavy weights and, I'm not bulky. So again, I would say lift heavy weights. A lot of the time, if people are going to get bulky, first of all, that is, dedication and they are really trying to get bulky, or they're professional athletes and they're training, multiple hours a day. But also it's down to what they're eating. So for you to be able to get that bulky, you're going to have to be eating a lot of calories and lifting many, many hours a day. The other thing I would say with exercise, so whilst yes, I do think lift weight and don't obsess over cardio, I would say one of the things I changed when I hit 40 was walking. Now, I just put this into my day, but I will generally hit about 8 to 10,000 steps every day. And I will make sure if I have a meal, like for example, if I eat after I've trained and it's carbs, then, I'm not as bothered. But if I had a meal in the evening and I tend to train first thing in the morning, I will make sure that I go for a walk after I've had that meal. And that's just to keep my insulin levels balanced and I found it's the best way ever to keep your weight regulated. The second point would be and I know that everyone bangs on about it, but you do need to focus on protein, not in an obsessive way. Now, when I eat my meals, I eat for health, and there's not been one point in my life that I've ever weighed anything or really counted macros or done anything like that. Now, for me, I find that quite daunting. I'm not one of these that's going to stick to that. I'm not really interested. It's going to kind of take off the fact of me wanting to have these things. And I know it works. I know if you want to do that, you do that. It's, I'm not saying it's bad, but for me, I don't do that. But I do kind of know what I need to eat and things like that. So I kind of just judge it, but I certainly do not ever count macros or weigh my food. But I will have protein with every meal. So for me, protein will always be things like chicken, Greek yogurt, things like that I'll have pretty much with every meal. And again, my diet is very healthy, but I am not rigid. I will have a pizza on a Friday night. I will have, I mean, it's not something I particularly like eating, but I would have a McDonald's if I was out. I'm not particularly rigid, but I would say I go on an 80-20. So 80% of the time, I eat real whole foods, healthy, and then 20% I'll just have whatever I want. I won't even think about it. And if I want something, I tend to have it. And obviously I've got a good relationship with food. I will never feel guilt. If I want something, I would have it. So Empty calories. Now, I think that, I mean, one of my, I don't know, weaknesses is I do love coffee with oat milk. So I will have a couple of them every day, and I don't even think about it. And I will have protein shake after the gym, but I don't like fizzy drinks. So I don't drink them because I don't like them. So I don't have them empty calories. So I would say the other thing is, if you're struggling and you do want to, you're looking after yourself, but you do want to lose a bit of weight, I would say, the walking, 100%. And I would also say that crowd out the bad stuff. So, for example, it's not a case of depriving yourself or saying you can't have something, but, say, for example, and this is what I would suggest when people are asking me when I'm out, I've had many people say, "Oh, yeah, but I'll have this or that." So I'll say to them, "Well, crowd it out. Have something healthy, even if you're just going to nibble on some cucumber at 11 because you're going to want to eat at 12. You're going to make a better decision when it comes to when you're eating at 12 because you're not famished. You're not going to grab the quick fix, which we all want to do. Everyone will go shopping in the supermarket, and you want something that you can literally just open in the cart because you're hungry. If you go there and you've eaten, you're not going to do that. You're going to make much better decisions. So just being mindful of that rather than obsessive over that, I think will make all the difference. Now, the third thing is, I would say, consistency. Consistency wins every time. I am very, 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 very consistent. So I will train, I'll get up in the morning. Generally, I'll train about 6:30, 7, and get it out of the way for the day. I say get it out of the way. I love doing it, but I just work a lot better when I get up and I train. Now, I would say you don't have to have an amazing long workout every time. Just that consistency is going to keep you on track, and you will see better results from just being consistent than you do from going really hard for a week, then having a week off, or doing something you can't maintain. So if you've got young children at home, for example, and it's difficult, you can't get up and you can't go to a gym, you can't leave them. So I would then work out what you can do in the house. So get up before they're going to get up, do your workout at home, makes no difference. In fact, one of the fittest I've ever been was during COVID, when I couldn't go to the gym or to CrossFit, and I literally just trained at home. So I would say I saw, six pack, really defined muscles just from training at home. But I trained, I wouldn't say every day. Obviously, I had a couple of days off, but I trained all the time, each day, 6 days. But I made it more fun. So I'd done a lot of calisthenics, a lot of like silly challenge things, and I had really good results. So if you can't get out to a gym, do what's going to work for you, do what fits your lifestyle, but you can do it at home. I mean, ideally, you don't need, but ideally, if I was doing it, I would want some weight at home. So like a 12.5 or a 15 kg, just to get some, and to do your workout, have a plan of what you're going to do, because otherwise we flounder unless you're one of these people or you're a trainer or something. A lot of people don't know what to do. They'll get there and they'll be thinking, right, I'm going to train, and then well, what am I doing? It's so much easier if you've got the plan from the night before. You're going to get up, you know what you're doing, 7 exercises or whichever you choose, and just get them done. So again, if you don't know what to do, there's so much online, so much on YouTube, or you can put it into ChatGTP. They'll give you a workout, tell them what you've got, tell them about yourself, tell them what you're looking for, and they can do a plan for you. And so then you can just get up in the morning at home and do your workout. Again, if you don't need to do it at home and you can go out to a class. I mean, the gym, I did used to struggle with the gym because I would get in there, and the reason I like CrossFit is they're just going to shout at me and tell me what to do. That works perfectly for me because I didn't used to like go into the gym thinking, right, what am I going to do now? I didn't feel like I had a good workout because I'd be just going in without a plan, looking what machine's free and trying to do something on that. And it was a complete mishmash, and I didn't really get any results. Now, if I go to the gym, I'll go in knowing what I'm going to do, which machines I'm going to use, what I'm working, and I come out having worked out, completed that. You feel accomplished, you've got a good workout, and you're done. So I would definitely say consistency, but you need a plan. You need a plan to go for when you go to the gym, or for if you're going to get up and do it at home. You need to know when you get up what you're going to do, and you really do want some weight, or some good, like having some body weight in there as well. So you want to be building muscle and focus more on that than I'm not saying don't go for a run if you love going for a run, and mental health and the reason we do things is for different reasons. But for changes in your body, I would say you definitely need weights, or if not weights, you need to use your body weight. So push ups and things like that. I would say we're over 40. What we're looking for now, we're not looking for skinny. Once you get over 40, it's not the same as, the 20-year-old that, hasn't got much muscle, still looks a great body. We're a bit more saggy. We're not saggy, but, we've got a little bit more. So you can also be too not, you could be not defined. So I think you really want to be looking for muscle. You want to be aiming for defined, muscly, not skinny. And, everyone gets this image, what I'm saying in their head. I'm not saying muscle bound woman. No, I'm saying you really want to be having muscle over just trying to be skinny. You're going to burn so much more fat anyway. You're going to look better. And I think as we get older, you're not going to have them bingo wings. You've got your muscle, and it's giving you that defined toned look that people want. And you're just going to feel so much better and still be able to do everything. I train for muscle, and I will say that, hand on heart, I don't want to tempt fate, but I don't have all these, when you see these memes of jokes of people over 40 where they're in pain or they're aching, or you know I don't. My body feels the same as it always did, and that's because I haven't stopped doing what I've always done. And I do have a full-time job, so this is not just, I'm saying, oh, it's so easy for me. I have a full-time job and I work long hours, so this is making, that's why I get up so early to get it done, because otherwise it wouldn't happen. The last point I would say is don't overcomplicate it. When I'm talking to people, they'll ask me questions and they'll be like, oh, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Do I need to buy a plan? Do I need to? Now, I'm not criticizing if you want to do that, but if people are asking me, I'm like, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it something that you're going to do as well. So, there's no point in having this massive, extravagant plan of all what you're going to eat and creating all these new foods for yourself that you're just not going to do. What I would always say is, especially to people I know or people that ask me in the street, try and, I mean, unless you're eating really, really bad, but I would say try and have what you're having and make sort of some changes to that. Or, I've had people say, well, the whole family eats together. Well, okay, so fine. You have the chicken, you have the veg. I mean, I don't eat anything special, but we're not eating smiley faces every day. So you're just trying to work with what works in your routine, keep it simple, and do something that you're going to be able to stick to. Because if you make it too intense and too involved, you're not going to want to do it. You're going to do it for a week and then you're going to fail. Then you're not going to feel good. Then you're going to feel like you couldn't do it. So you're better off keeping it or even working up to it. You don't have to go from doing zero to training 6 days a week, or, training how I train. You want to train and you're just looking to improve yourself each time. But as I said to you, consistency, that is what you need. So thank you for watching. I hope it's been helpful and have a lovely day.